Deputy Anne Ferris, 4 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Minister, I have deep concerns about the grid link line of pylons from Cork to Kildare. I am of the view that a new assessment of this aspect of the Grid 25 project would be beneficial. But a more fundamental assessment is needed than the health and visual concerns report that Fianna Fáil is seeking. I will come back later to the issue of the type of report that is needed. Today, Fianna Fáil is asking for the wrong report, and we have to ask ourselves why. A clue to the answer to that question might be that two of the signatories to today's motion, Deputies Michael Moynihan and Barry Cowan, are already on record as being strong supporters of wind generation for export. There's undoubtedly a need for wind power to meet our national renewable energy targets, but to spend a fortune on upgrading parts of our national grid for the primary reason of exporting wind power is another story, and I will come back to that issue in a few minutes. Fianna Fáil knows full well that it is not possible to do any kind of a visual report on pylon routes that have not yet been identified unless these international consultants are the type that normally work with the assistance of a crystal ball in a tent at the Galway races. EirGrid's plans are to proceed all the way to consultation with An Bord Pleanála without revealing the actual specific route of these pylons. This is very wrong, but it won't be corrected by the strangely worded motion that Fianna Fáil has put before us today. Fianna Fáil is kicking the can down the road here and not in the interest of anyone's health. The pylon route that concerns me most is the D2 corridor that, for some reason known only to EirGrid, sweeps through an area of undeveloped natural farmland of high tourism potential in East Carlow and West Wicklow. It is miles away from the centres of industrial growth mentioned by the Minister yesterday. This corridor also happens to run through an area designated by Wicklow County Council as being more suitable for future wind farm development than anywhere else in the country. We have to go to EirGrid's own project reports to see the link between the grid link part of the Grid 25 project and export of wind power. I quote from page 9 of the lead consultant's Stage 1 report of September 2013, which says, "The drivers that mostly influence future or proposed network capacity are the integration and future interconnection along the southeast coast of Ireland with either Great Britain or France." So there it is in black and white. EirGrid's vision of the grid link piece of this project is not primarily about upgrading the national grid for national needs. It is about upgrading the national grid for export. And I know the Minister does not share this vision and has stressed the importance of improvements to the national grid in terms of EirGrid's obligation as a supplier of energy to Irish homes and businesses, not as a subsidy to wind export. And I can understand why. The export idea is losing appeal. Not only does Britain have 2 other interconnectors to France and Belgium, it is currently planning 3 more to mainland Europe, as well as a new nuclear power plant and a major increase in its own wind farms. I can't seem to pick up a newspaper these days without reading the views of eminent economist Colin McCarthy, who points to the availability of Scotland as a much less costly source of wind power for Britain than imports from Ireland. Minister, the type of report that I would welcome is an up-to-date, fully costed assessment of the overall need for the GridLink project at the scale currently proposed, or indeed at any scale at all. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you.